Hello, Doctor Who fans across the Whoniverse, and welcome to another episode of your favourite podcast, Who Corner to Corner. I'm Paul. I'm here with Geoff, as always. You good, Geoff?
I'm good, as always.
Geoff is good as always, and we are also joined by my daughter, Freya, who's with us. How are you, Freya?
I'm great.
She's great. That's amazing. We're amazing. Everyone's good, great, and amazing. And guess what? We are here to talk about the episode which has literally just dropped tonight on December the 9th.
He just had to look at the pieces.
Spoil the illusion, because I always get the dates wrong. The Giggle, which saw, I was going to say it saw a regeneration, but we saw something very different.
Yes.
A bi-generation! My goodness, what was that all about? Let's dissect it. Let's go straight into you, Geoff. You've just watched this, slightly behind schedule. What did you think of it, me old mate?
Overall, I thought it was brilliant. I thought that it was, it felt like a fitting season finale. You know, it was big, stakes. I mean, actually, while I say that, you didn't like the shard was on fire in the background. I don't quite know how that happened. So we didn't see.
Someone dropped a match.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of that stuff other than in Camden, I guess, at the beginning. When everyone was angry. But yeah, it felt really. It was quite big. The whole world at threat
It was
again.
quite big.
And it wasn't what you could call subtle, but I did think it was quite a nice commentary on, let's be honest, fandom and the internet and modern life in general.
Are you saying there was social commentary in a Doctor Who episode, Geoff?
Yes. Who would ever believe that?
Who would ever have thought it?
And,
Who would ever thunk it?
It was just Chibnall that was preachy, but it was very good. It was well done, and remember with Dark Blue Yonder, I'd read out a tweet from someone.
Wild Blue Yonder?
Wild Blue that one last week. And someone, a chap, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he lived in Portland in Oregon, and he said that he thought the Doctor's story about the TARDIS and the civilization and praising and building it, tearing it down, was sort of a commentary on fandom. And I must say, I think his name might be Sean, but he was listening to our Wild Blue Yonder review when he was driving, because he tweeted us. I don't know if you saw it, and then he said
he did. He
did
see it, and he may be driving now and hear his name mentioned again.
Hiya,
Sean. Hey.
I hope it is Sean. I'm going to have to try and check that in a minute. But he'll know who I mean, so apologies if I got that wrong. But yeah, so I thought there was obviously a bit of a theme, of sort of, people criticising and being angry and stuff. So yeah, that was good. I thought. Now I've never seen the Celestial Toymaker. Story. It's lost essentially. So watching it is slightly difficult. But obviously kind of somewhat aware of the character. And I thought the way he was kind of brought back into it was really good. And I knew that Neil Patrick Harris would be really good, but I wasn't expecting him to be this good in it. I love How I Met Your Mother. He's done a couple of other shows that I've watched. There was one on Netflix where his fiance left him or something. I can't remember what it was called, but it was very good. Anyway, I think he's brilliant.
It was very good. It was very good, listeners. Yes, if you've seen it, please dial in.
Yeah, and he
so
was.
That Geoff can be reminded of the name of this thing.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really good, a bit more dramatic, but
it was really good.
Yeah, he was kind of creepy and sort of maniacal and quite good fun. And I'm going to be honest, him dancing to Spice Girls is absolutely the best thing out of the entire specials trio. It was so stupid, but he was clearly having a great time doing it, and it was just so out there. It was really good.
There seems to be a kind of a new tradition of having a bad guy dance to a popular number.
Yes.
in a Doctor Who finale.
Yes, well, we had.
It's the third time we've had it now, right? We've had the Rasputin dance, and we had the Masters dance.
Yeah,
in Sound of Drums.
Yeah.
Was it Sound of Drums?
Yeah,
one
it was,
after that, actually, wasn't it? Whatever that one was, Last of the Time Lords, I think.
Yes, it's been a little bit of a theme, yeah. So that was it was all great. And
We're getting Jeff's entire rundown here.
yeah, sorry, I've just sort of gone for
That's
it.
right, mate. Crack on.
And I thought it looked great. They obviously spent a ton of money on it. The unit set was brilliant, very Avengers Tower, circa Avengers 1 and 2. So yeah, I there was a lot to like there. But now I'm going to hand over to you before I go on to something else.
Well, I'm going to hand over to Freya.
Why
What did you
me?
think about it? Because I've done Geoff, I'm in control, I introduced it, I'm the main host right now, and I choose you to give us an opinion, just a snapshot.
I liked it.
You like? Is that it?
Yeah.
Brilliant! That's
Okay, well
okay.
done.
We'll go with
Right.
that. I liked it. That's the voice of Gen Z right there, succinct and to the point. Which I think is a lesson for all of us. I liked it also. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, I was very much looking forward to the return of the toy maker. As it hasn't really been a secret. It was, since all those images and the little teaser videos started appearing online at what seems like many months ago now. Always a delight, and looking forward massively to Neil Patrick Harris playing this. He brought to that character. I mean, it's difficult because we can't see. I mean, it's out on. It's going to be out on DVD/Blu-ray very shortly. We've seen the trailer for the animation, and the animation looks quite unusual, I'd say. But actually, I think in keeping with the kind of theme of toys and games, a whole playroom essentially coming to life, which is kind of what happens in, or the set within the Celestial Toy Maker, the old Hartnell episode is very much a sort of nursery playroom type set. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, so that's that aside. Bringing him back, we were going to have the Toy Maker back in a Colin Baker Sixth Doctor episode for what would have been the original season 24, but didn't happen because of the whole kind of cancellation and mini hiatus that was eventually brought back as the Trial of a Time Lord. So all of the stories from that season that had been commissioned and planned out were scrapped, and one of them was called The Nightmare Fair by Graham Williams, who used to be the producer of Doctor Who back in Tom Baker's days, late 70s. And he'd written The Return of the Celestial Toy Maker, which was going to be played by Michael Gough, who played the role in the 60s. And it was due to take part in, or it was all going to happen in Blackpool, in the fairground in Blackpool, the theme park there with the roller coasters and everything else. And I think it's out as a Big Finish. I haven't heard the Big Finish, but
the Nightmare Fair rings a bell. So
cool.
yeah, maybe it does.
Yeah. So it's there to listen.
I must say that when they said NPH was appearing and stuff, and then it kind of leaked that he was the toy maker, I thought it was quite cool because the Masters returned 3 times in New Who, and any new guest that appears, if it's a woman, is it the Rani? And if it's a bloke, it must be the Master. So actually,
must be the Master.
So remember the Master, because we'll come back to that later. But it was nice that they brought back someone that was, not
from the 60s. One of the very first, the very most early, original, kind of villains that the Doctors had. And I think also, I mean, the thing that I was so there's something very special about the Toy Maker, or the Celestial Toy Maker, as he was up until like now. And we dropped the Celestial, although they did make a reference to "Let's go Celestial," didn't they?
Yeah.
When the 14th Doctor kind of held his hand out and said, "You and me together, my old son.
Yes.
Let's go and do it. Let's take it among the stars. We'll be Celestial," or something like that. But the Celestial Toy Maker is one of the most powerful forces to face the Doctor, and I think that came back rather nicely in this episode. Now, originally it was towards the end of William Hartnell's run, when William Hartnell was getting quite poorly, when his illness was starting to have an impact on the programme, and they were starting to look at ways where they could exit him from the show. They wanted the show to continue, but had to kind of realise that probably they were going to have to lose William Hartnell at some point. And this was one of the ideas. So one thing that happened within that story was that the Doctor vanished, right? So he lost one of the games, or lost a round of a game, and he was made invisible. So we never saw the Doctor for, I think, the best part of probably around 2 episodes, I think. certainly a big chunk of the story. And the idea, I think, was when he was going to reappear in the show, he would have a different face and essentially be somebody else. Now, obviously, that idea was kind of cancelled, and then it was brought in a little bit, a few stories later on in the 10th Planet with the idea of regeneration. But it's quite an important thing, I guess, in the history of Doctor Who, for at least starting that let's replace the Doctor. So in my mind, before I watched this, there was all kinds of questions because of that significance, if you like. So, and I think we'd already seen a few leaks. I hadn't actually. I'd take myself out of rumours and everything else, but I still caught wind that this regeneration was going to be different. So there was a whole.
I didn't.
You didn't. No, you stayed clear. Well done, you.
And
Fantastic.
I spend 3 hours on TikTok every day.
She does do a lot of TikTok. That's for sure. Whatever the verb for spending far too many hours on TikTok is, she does it. So yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris is brilliant in pretty much everything he does.
He really is. He
mesmerising actor to watch.
Yeah, he's able to do the comedy stuff. He can do dramatic. He can sing and he can dance, and his magic stuff as well. He's head of, or certainly one of the heads of the Magic Circle in America.
Is he really?
And stuff.
I didn't know that. Did you know that? No,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
he's really up there in the Magic Castle in LA, which is there.
So probably all that little card trickery that he was doing. That was probably
it was him doing it. Yeah.
Whoa.
And I would say that his Barney.
It now, aren't you? Picks up a phone, instantly Googles, so she knows everything.
Or TikTok it. Barney Stinson. Barney Stinson that he plays in How I Met Your Mother is one of the best comic creations of the last, I don't know how many years since it was running. But
I need to get around to watching that.
Absolutely brilliant in it, every single episode, and he's just fantastic. I loved it.
He was great in I'd say he was in Unfortunate Events
That's
as well.
What
I saw some of that. Yeah,
he was kind of like.
Yeah,
people.
Definitely. Yeah, it's pulling a lot of that.
A bit of Count Olaf.
I mean, that's not the only thing I've seen of him, but it did remind me of a series of Unfortunate Events.
So and there's also, really I mean, there was a nice bit as well when we see him with all the carnage going on in the street,
and
he's kind of twirling a cane, dressed up in the sort of dinner jacket, like the MC from Cabaret.
Yeah,
which is that whole kind of weirdness, slightly unsettling, very surreal kind of master of ceremonies. And then we get images of him as the puppeteer on the strings.
That was cool. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, he was astonishing, and the whole kind of Spice Girls routine. I'm not a fan of the Spice Girls. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you? I mean, I don't mind the stuff, but that was just
every time they come
brilliant.
On the radio. Freya, turn it off!
Turn it off. Yeah, throw the radio at the wall.
That was great. I did like that.
The radio in the car.
So it was sort
not
of
a good idea throwing that at the wall.
No.
Sorry, Geoff. Go on, continue.
It was kind of. It was an episode. I don't really know how to sort of get to the main part of it. Really, it was an episode of two halves, a game of two halves, quite literally at the end. Anything else?
I think there was three or four main acts. I think so. We had the opening, wasn't it? We had the pre-credit sequence with the really scary puppets. Which Freya, we can't mention now because we are literally going to traumatise Freya.
Been traumatised.
It's already been traumatised by gas masks. This is the new one, isn't it? What do we say? As soon as that came on, we said this is a whole new generation of traumatised kids. Right now, it starts here. If this is their first experience of Doctor Who, it has destroyed them for life in the way that Doctor Who should and always has done. So that the spooky puppets. Why would a guy go into a shop, pick out the creepiest looking puppet amongst all the creepy puppets and say, I want that one? Crazy.
I'm just looking at pictures of Stucky Bill, and he's horrible.
And then, of course, ended up being a puppet as well.
Yeah, that was quite creepy.
What it was like in real life.
It was. I just looked it up. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Geoff just
it looked very similar to the. It looked similar to the one in the show. Yeah.
And that's a great idea, isn't it? For that image to have been with us ever since the inception of TV, sort of planting a subliminal.
Stop! I can't look at the screen.
Kind of subliminal sort of instruction into our heads to unleash our anger at some point in the future.
Bed in a bit.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about that now, so then we can move on. See.
Good.
There you go. Okay.
So I had a few things that I wasn't that. Oh no, sorry.
Ooh.
I was going to say there was something I really liked as well. So overall, I thought it was great. Like I said, it was a really good. I feel like I'm just going to unload now, and if I don't, I'll forget. So the bit where they were in the dark room,
let's sit back and have a listen to this then.
You know, they had the little theatre chairs, and Toymaker had his set and stuff, and I quite liked the puppets. You know, for Amy and Clara and Bill and the Flux and stuff.
I thought you might have enjoyed Clara's little puppet there.
And
we got the Flux as well. We had the planets.
And the Flux, and the Doctor was going.
And what did he say at the end of each one? But that's all right, isn't it?
That's all right then.
His voices were brilliant, I have to say.
Yeah.
Do you know, at some point, he sound. I mean, the German was dodgy, but I think it was meant to be.
Because
I think it was meant to be a
first guy was like,
dodgy
your
fake
accent
German.
slipped.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah.
And then, but there were some points, particularly when he's on the gun and at unit and that whole standoff, where I thought he actually really sounded like Michael Goff.
Really?
Which was
Maybe
incredible.
He was,
the
you know,
original
trying to
actor.
impersonate.
He did a great British accent.
Michael
which
Goff.
you don't often get.
Fact fans, Michael Goff was Alfred in the.
We know.
Batman
It was
films,
Batman's butler. Yeah,
That's
we
right,
do know. I think everyone who listens to this knows that, Geoff.
So it was nice that you know, the other companions
Didn't rise
totally
to it at all.
ignoring.
Sorry, go on. Yes.
The other companions were referenced there, and you know, the Flux and stuff. So that was quite a good touch. I thought that the Stooky Bill face.
What's the interesting fact there, Freya, that you've just found about Michael Goff,
Michael Goff died in Salisbury.
which is just local to us? Fact fans, right there. Sorry, Geoff, continue.
How do
I'm
I
coming
follow
up with
that?
facts that people don't know, rather than facts that people do know.
I'll tell you what, if you're listening to this and you didn't know that Alfred Goff was Alfred Pennyworth,
Tweet in, let us know.
Alfred Pennyworth, whatever. This one is turning into a
Let's
right
move
giggle.
on.
Sorry, Geoff, I do apologise.
Yes, I
Twizzling
thought
you
that Stooky Bill being hidden into every screen since the 1920 whatever was a bit nonsense.
1925.
And they even said, oh, it's a bit like the Archangel Network, and it's a bit, I think it's a bit flimsy myself. But it works, you know. It's okay, you know. It's like I thought there was quite a few sort of callbacks to past things here, with that being a bit similar to you know, the Archangel Network and
there was a few things that were kind of pulled out of
their era. Yeah, there was one or two other things
pulled out of the Russell T Davies bag of Doctor Who tropes.
Yeah, there was a few things mentioned. Yeah,
I mean, even actually the Unit HQ looking like something out of the Avengers, because in Sound of Drums it was the Valiant, wasn't it? Which was the flying ship, which was straight out of the MCU.
Yeah, I'd love to know how much of a comics fan Russell is actually.
He was a big comics fan. I mean,
he must be. It's quite
comics,
clearly. His
really
drawings
good
actually. Yeah, they are very
artist.
good. Yeah, it's very clearly inspired.
Judge Dredd, he was a big fan of Judge Dredd in 2000 AD as well. Yeah. So a lot of, you know, and you can see a lot of that stuff in here, and I think it's fine because Doctor Who does pull from a lot of different places. You know, I was watching Pyramids of Mars earlier in the week, which pulls from Hammer Horror, Universal Horror Pictures, and you know, just quite liberally just rips off all of that stuff, which is part of what Doctor Who does. Fine, but then puts its own spin on things.
Yeah. So I thought that we've got mentions of the boss, he who waits, and the legions are coming.
Legions,
so you know, some arcs, if you will, come in there. And the gold tooth with the master in, and then a mysterious female hand somehow picking it up from the edge of the helipad on the tower.
Which again we had in
the specials.
Story.
Yeah, when Mrs. Saxon did some magic.
The End of Time, wasn't it? Was it The End of Time Part 1?
Yeah.
Which again plays from Flash Gordon the movie, because at the end of Flash Gordon the movie, Ming the Merciless gets pierced by the rocket ship Ajax, and his consciousness is stored in a little ring, and it's picked up by some red fingernailed female hands.
Right.
And Russell said when he did that in End of Time, he was deliberately robbing it from the Flash Gordon movie, and he's done it again. So he's robbed it twice.
Yeah, I wondered if the hand was Ruth Madeley's, perhaps.
Maybe, could be.
But a genuine question. I don't know how.
I didn't look at her nail polish.
Well, no, I didn't either.
No, her.
And I did wonder
when she's in,
how anyone picked it up on the edge there, but there we go.
They could fly.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? So, what did you think of the big moment?
The bi-generation.
The bi-generation. Now, did you know that was a rumour?
No.
No,
You
I
didn't? Right, okay.
No.
I saw that it was after. Like, I saw a comment, someone being like, "Oh, I'd heard that it was a thing," and I was like, "Had I? What was that?"
Yes, it's been rumoured for quite a while. I'm amazed you stay clear of it.
You were saying it was rumours, wasn't it? And I said to you, I don't want to know.
No.
Don't tell me. Shut up. I don't want to hear it, and I don't care because I don't honestly. I get why they're there. But I just don't have the patience for it, to be honest. And I'd
it's
rather
amazing
just watch
how
a show
much leaks, like all of the stuff that's leaked has been true.
Has it? All of it? Done with two heads kind of thing.
So
was
if
was that just a fever dream?
That
was just me.
So yeah, it's quite.
I mean, this is the problem I think
contrast.
with. It's either a problem or it's something to be enjoyed, and I think online everything is out there right now, and it's instant, isn't it? And it's very difficult to kind of shut yourself away from it. I put a couple of tweets on our Twitter and our Facebook, sort of asking for people's opinions, or wildest theories as to what was going to be expected.
Yeah.
So I saw a few of those things come in, but I didn't realise they were also like based on the rumours, and I deliberately looked and I thought, no, that's it. So I didn't engage with any of those until after the show. But yeah, it's interesting how many people were saying by generation, before we
never even heard of it.
Me neither. But and it's a new thing.
These leaks, like if you I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you compare it to how tight it was under Chibnall, everything has been leaked here, and I just like. Bits and pieces usually get out on stuff, but I just don't know how it happens. I find it,
it's got to be people on set somewhere, isn't it? Or
it's got to be, and also sometimes I wonder whether
people
this
watching spies.
Yeah, but is it done deliberately as well? It's like it's slightly different, I know, but like when Lego sets or Funko models get leaked, and these these slightly dodgy pictures and stuff appear, and you think. I think that's probably a deliberate leak,
My generation is actually only a Doctor Who word. It doesn't exist anywhere else. So how did
Google that as well?
So how do people even know it?
Well, it's because they've read the leaks. That's how
the leaks, the rumours.
So what did you think?
I thought it was all right. Actually, I was surprised by it. Yeah, it was quite brilliantly done. There was a lot of comedy in there, which is always great. So there's a few stages to it, isn't there? Firstly, the 14th Doctor gets wazzed by that laser straight through, as enacted by Freya here. Fantastic, well done. Don't call us, we'll call you. And then it starts to happen. They both, Mel and Donna, grab his hand, and then it sort of doesn't happen. He's like, "Whoa, that feels weird." And then he says, "Pull," and then I'm like, "What's going on?" And we get the pull, and then we get that amazing thing where Ncuti Gatwa and David Tennant are literally joined at the groin, which is, they've got a bit of groin join going on, which is brilliant. It's so fun. And then, of course, the 15th Doctor appears not wearing any trousers.
Yeah.
So, and it's obviously Tennant's, or the 14th Doctor's got the clothes that the 15th Doctor is missing and vice versa. So presumably, Tennant's not wearing any undercrackers. And he had no shoes either because Ncuti's got the shoes on, but without trousers. Tennant's got the vest, Ncuti's got the shirt and the tie, and Tennant's got the waistcoat. I thought it was hilarious, and I've always said to you, I always think I know everything about this series, this Doctor Who that there is to know, and I love it when it pulls the rug out from under my feet, as the Timeless Child did, and I thought this was another example of that. It's I tweeted just a few days ago, the BBC put out a thing about all the regenerations from William Hartnell right up to the 13th into the 14th Doctor, and one thing I was a little bit funny on it, at least in my head I was funny, but whether it was or not was another thing. But I am, thank you. I'm what? Oh, that's rude. Anyway, But I said, like, you know, in a classic series, every regeneration was different. Some were very basic, some were a little bit more elaborate, depending on how much money they had to spend on the special effects. But pretty much every regeneration effect in the modern series has been the same.
Yeah, it has
you know
been
what I mean?
largely the same, yeah.
The kind of head volcano. And I get it with the
Yeah.
Ninth Doctor, because he sort of snogged it all out of Rose Tyler's bad wolfness. But then it was kind of repeated for every regeneration afterwards. And you know, it's kind of the same thing. You know, the head explodes, the arms fountain outwards, and the TARDIS gets destroyed. You know, well, so what? You know, I kind of got bored by it. I'm not going to lie. I think Jodie's regeneration was brilliant because there was a lot more emotion in that one. You know what I mean? But essentially, it was still the same kind of effect. You know what I mean?
The visual was the same
up,
on,
blah, blah,
on
blah.
it. Yeah, on the
So I like the fact this was something different, and
it's true because they're going like back to series 1.
And we get series 1.
It's
Yes, the next series is
title.
series 1, isn't it? It is an effective reboot of the show, so it's kind of metaphorical in that sense as well. But I was also going to say as well, now, you know, you think of so one thing that's always kind of bugged me ever since I watched the Three Doctors back in 1981, which is the first time I saw it, which is, and the Five Doctors a couple of years later, right, is, you know, in the Five Doctors, and they show William Hartnell's Doctor walking through a garden, and they show the second Doctor, and, you know, he goes and visits units, and the third Doctor is driving Bessie down a country lane. In my head, all of those things were after they'd regenerated, and we have Tom Baker as a curator in the
Day of the Doctor.
You know, in the Day of the Doctor as well, right? So there's obviously a lot of stuff going on with regenerations that we don't know about, and I think, thinking of that, there is kind of like a life for the Doctor of that incarnation beyond their regeneration, I think. And we saw a little bit of that maybe in The Power of the Doctor, where they're all kind of in a mind space, but maybe that was a little bit more metaphysical, you know. But I've always thought, well, you know, if they regenerate, these Doctors in some universe or other kind of continue. So maybe that's what they did with the 14th Doctor, but instead of him continuing in another universe or another plane of existence, he actually continues in the same one as this, so that we can have lots more David Tennant as the Doctor adventures without it worrying about affecting the main timeline of Doctor Who, of course. So more money to be had for Disney and the BBC there.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Yeah.
So,
I love it, but I suspect evil corporate commercialism is behind it, really.
Well, I'm as torn as the Doctor was here, and I will explain why. Because I thought the idea of bioregeneration sounded horrific for many reasons, but it was actually handled quite well, I thought. I'll come on to Ncuti in a minute, and I thought, okay, yeah, they've done it. It's happened. It's worked.
It's out there now.
It's out there. You know, Russell was there the other day saying, you know, we're going to change canon and, you know, you'll get upset and things like that. And, you know, I kind of think he's in charge now. And, you know, Chibnall made changes with The Timeless Child, and Moffat made changes by bringing back Gallifrey, and Russell made changes by destroying Gallifrey and the Time War and all of that. As the showrunner, I think it's their prerogative to do, within reason, what they want with the show.
Within reason. There was a caveat.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if you were to say, you know, I don't know, the TARDIS can only go back to the Middle Ages or something, you know, it's a little bit limiting. But I think that, you know, you've got to do things to keep it all moving forward and stuff. And you know, the bioregeneration thing in itself is, you know, whatever. It doesn't really like make much difference overall. I doubt it will happen again. But it didn't all sit well with me.
Did we need it, do you think? Well, I mean, we just had a couple of ways for regenerations to continue. We've already had a big sort of rug pull from the history of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Do we need another one so soon? I mean, do we need another canon shifting event?
I'm not sure that that's the problem for me. I think what I don't like is that the Doctor that we've known for so long has now sort of stopped, and I felt that the the explanation of why Tennant's face came back was frankly bullshit, and it was just nonsense.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. What was the explanation? Did we miss it?
It was something like he's been running himself ragged and he's thin as a pipe, they said, and you're tired. And on one hand, I kind of, I quite liked it because she said, I've seen inside your mind, and you run from this and you run from that. And when Ncuti appeared, he said, we had Logopolis and we had this, and So I sort of that, I quite like it because
explaining all the stuff that had happened. I thought that was cool.
And so that was good. And I think I said to you before, Paul, it'd be quite nice if we had an episode where the Doctor and companions just sort of went to the beach or something and chilled out.
There you go.
But it would obviously never happen.
They had tea in the garden.
But my feelings on the 10th and the 14th Doctor. I think Tennant's so good, but now he's permanently there again. And so,
he's already there in his blue suit version, his Bad Wolf Bay version as well, isn't he? The Meta-Crisis Doctor is still out there somewhere.
That one's out there.
So we've still got.
There's like 3 versions of David.
There's 3
Tennant
versions
Doctor.
of him, and do you know what I mean? Like the show is, it's
kind
almost
of digging its own
How
hole.
many regeneration scenes
some
does
ways.
David Tennant
Yeah.
film?
Yeah,
Do you know,
I get where you're
reason,
coming from, Geoff.
the point when I felt that it all gone a bit too far was when Forbidden Planet made Meta-Crisis Doctor T-shirts and merchandise with the half-human clone on, and he was in a lineup. So 3 Tennants in the lineup, and I thought, oh my God, it's not the David Tennant show, and I hate.
There is a celebration. I mean, I love David Tennant. He's fantastic.
He's a
I think he has
superb
played
actor.
the 14th Doctor differently to the 10th, mostly. But there's a danger that the show becomes so fixated on one person that
that's
it
what's
stops
happening.
it stops it being allowed to grow and breathe and be something else and change and evolve.
You're absolutely right. Although we'll talk about Ncuti in a minute. I kind of hope not. But we've discussed before about how 10 was just everywhere over the last sort of 5-6 years.
You'll be in Ncuti's first Titan comic, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, I've seen people joking about that already.
People wanted to put them together because they got on
and people saying how long till 14 reappears, and someone said start of the next episode, it's a little bit like there was a rumour that Tennant and Tate were going to appear in a show called Partners in Crime for Disney, and she was obviously offered a job at Unit. So if you're watching this, I'm clearly distressed. It was funny when she was
salary before she even started, wasn't it?
Doubled it, and I thought, God, I wish I could get a $120,000 job for being able to tell what a piece of music is,
And type fast. Don't forget that.
And type fast.
She can type really fast.
So I sort of forgive me for waffling. I sort of dislike the idea that any Doctor is, permanently a separate version from another. I dislike that it's Tennant again. We're relying on him again. That he's got his TARDIS. Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of he's having the cake and eating it a little bit, and I just don't like it. I mean, someone online suggested there could be some sort of licensing contractual thing here where the BBC want sort of an end to the Doctors that they own, and Ncuti onwards is a Bad Wolf BBC Disney Doctor.
Right.
I don't know whether there's any truth in that. It seems a bit bonkers to me.
Why would the BBC negotiate away one of its most successful?
Well, yes, exactly. It doesn't really make sense.
It's now come to realise the value of after so many years.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see it, being picked up by Disney there, and the support and investment into it and stuff like that. So I kind of the bi-regeneration in itself was fine. I don't like that. There's another 10, 14, whatever, knocking around. But at the same time, I kind of liked, I've never been so happy and all of that, and just kind of stopping.
It was quite joyous, wasn't it?
It was quite nice, but I do find it sort of weird that there's now Doctor V2, in Ncuti to go off, and do you know what I mean? Yeah, I just
people being like, I'm glad we got taken or got saved from having to say goodbye to David Tennant again. And that's not what it's about. It's not about
that, and that's what it is. Keeping him is appeasing all of that, and the most popular Doctor and all of that, and
I'd only watch it when David Tennant's in it.
Yeah,
I
and if we
when
need,
he got proposed. It got proposed that he would stay with Donna, and he goes, "I'll go mad," because then it is like when Matt Smith was in the house.
He couldn't stand it. Time goes so slowly, And,
it's only been 3 minutes or something.
But then
it was.
The Doctor's not going to be able to do that. But then when they said, "Oh, he's been to Mars, he's been doing this," it's like, "Oh, okay, that works."
So it just, I guarantee that there'll be a. Well, I don't guarantee. I don't know anything, but there'll be a 14th Doctor comic series before the end of next year for sure. So I kind of, I've said it already, but kind of.
But then it's fine in a way, I think.
That.
Yeah. Because I mean, if that's what happens, then it's your choice to engage with it or not, really.
Well, yes, it is. Although,
exactly.
I don't have to read it at all. I'm not being forced to, but it is a little bit. Well, it's a lot bit actually that they're relying on Tennant. So I'm not overly keen on that.
I do.
But the best thing to come out of that was Ncuti. He was so good. He's
fantastic,
fizzing with energy and life. He's a bit cheeky, a bit camp. He's a bit kind of go-getting. He was
no two ways about it. No, and it was really good to see him have a good few minutes.
Confidence as well.
Straight in there.
Yeah. And I think, because normally you only get a minute with the new Doctor. I think
sometimes they start and they're a bit shaky, but he was very
and he didn't seem to have that. And I think because of the inevitable push that will come with it all starting on Disney, giving him a big chunk in this episode to sort of get established slightly is a good move. I do think that, like you were sort of saying earlier, I probably would have preferred it if they'd sort of gone back into each other again, or as it were.
I thought they still might have done actually at the end.
I thought that was going to happen at one point. He was going to absorb
separated,
him.
And not only that, we got two TARDISes as well. I mean, that was kind of cheeky. Hitting it with a giant comic hammer. I love the way Ashley, Shooty's Doctor just goes straight to a flap in the TARDIS, pulls up this giant comic hammer, then gives it a whack to produce an entire new TARDIS, which is totally bonkers. But let's go with it.
But it's Doctor Who. Doctor Who is bonkers.
Exactly. You're right, Freya. It is Doctor Who, but there is a limit to its Doctor Who. I think before but he was just, like you said earlier, Paul. He's running around his boxers and and stuff. what a debut for a Doctor, and he just seemed fantastic. And I watched the Churchill and Ruby Road trailer, and you've got Ruby dangling off of something flying through the air. The Goblin ship looks fantastic. The Doctor's jumping over roofs and stuff. Fantastic. You can tell he's going to be kind of a slightly actiony, kind of
lots of energy,
comical. I think he's going to be really good. So very excited for that. Not long to go now, and I do kind of. I'm going to drop one. I think 14 was pointless. Is what I think.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because it wasn't long enough. And I think we got 3 adventures that were really good, but it's like I said about Wild Blue Yonder. That was a sort of almost that was like a Blink Midnight type of feel. It's episode 2 out of 3.
It gave filler vibes.
A what one?
It gave filler vibes.
No, I don't think it was a filler at all. I think it was an excellent episode.
I don't think it was. It just gave that's the vibe.
But because it was it was the filling
Middle
of the
one.
sandwich, So I sort of think it would have been nice to go either to have had more, or to just gone straight to Ncuti, and I guess they couldn't for various reasons and schedules and blah blah blah, and maybe Tennant coming back was a literal placeholder to be able to keep it on air in this year because
sex education, wouldn't they?
He was, because
Yeah,
he was. Yeah, he wasn't. He was dashing between them at one point during his first season. So yeah, I say pointless. I'm being a bit stupid
It's
there,
been
but
nasty now.
Negative.
I get what you mean.
Negative energy.
We don't want that in the room, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I mean, for me, no new Doctor Who is pointless. I'll take all of it.
That's not what I. No, I don't mean it that way. I just think that those stories were really good. They'd have been great with Ncuti, or more of 14. It just felt too brief, and they.
Maybe I get where you're coming from, but I'm not sure I totally agree.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I've really enjoyed these. I've enjoyed these.
Yeah, no, I have enjoyed it. That's why I was saying I'm torn about a lot.
Yeah,
of it.
Yeah,
I think it was excellent.
It would have been nice if they'd gone straight to Ncuti, but for whatever reason that couldn't and didn't happen. And we got a resolution of a storyline that I've always hated.
Yes, and it was nicely done with Donna, and it was.
So for me to see the whole Donna meta crisis thing, the memory wipe, which I've always detested, like nothing else on the planet, because I don't get out much, frankly. It's nice to see that done, and I love Wild Blue Yonder. I thought Star Beast was great. Wild Blue Yonder I thought was superb. This one, I mean, we had the toy maker back, Neil Patrick Harris. There's so much good stuff. And in case we forget, I've written her name down here, 3 big letters, M-E-L, Mel. I mean, we knew Mel was coming back into the next series, Ncuti's first full series.
She's been seen with Ncuti,
Series 1. But I had no idea she was going to pop up in this one.
Well, I knew she was because they accidentally leaked her second of shot in the trailer where she was in the background, because people identified the jacket from her Ncuti appearance.
You cannot spend too much time online, mate.
I thought that at one point I thought, is this Mel? Is she going to turn out to be bad or something here? Is she going to be the toy maker in disguise? Because she she was starting to act slightly odd at one point. I thought just Auntie briefly. Mel. Yeah. So it was great to see her, and some nice past companion chat with Donna and stuff.
I liked
and then
how her and Donna got on.
Yeah, straight away.
There
was none of that friction that Sarah Jane and Rose had, when they first met. So that was really nice.
And also we got more character from Mel in those couple of minutes that she was telling us about her life and her family. Yeah. Never knew she had a family, or I mean, obviously she would have done, but we never heard anything about them. How would she be here
otherwise? Yeah.
I mean, the only weird bit there was like Sablon Glitz lived to be 100 and something. So how old is Mel then in that case? She's looking very good for her age. She's post.
Well, that's what the doctor said. You look really good for your age, because that was it. He said that, and I thought that seems like the sort of comment the doctor makes when he's detected something, and is saying, I know. But I'll come back to that, So yeah, she was great. It's lovely to see her, and I wonder how big a part she'll have in Ncuti stuff.
Mad Auntie
Mel.
The
bit with Kate when they took her thing off. Can't remember what it was called.
Yeah,
because
she's like, CB thing.
Can't remember what it's called. And it was like 2 redheads conspiracy. I've seen you walk.
Yeah, I mean all of that was a brilliant comments on angry posters online who feel that their opinions, regardless of how weird they are,
everyone's right.
Everyone's right. Everyone's opinion is valid. I'm entitled to express my opinion. It's just my opinion. But if you're wrong, I'm going to get angry with you and argue the toss with you. And I've never met you. But I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call you names. Because why not? I'm not actually getting out, and we're not actually engaging in physical fisticuffs.
I have never encountered that online. Never.
It was hilarious to see that kind of pulled into the real world.
Yeah, I liked that. He's obviously aware of all of it. So I said, a few times on the podcast before, I think, very much looking forward to Ncuti, and I'm pleased that we've not got long to wait for him.
I know, just a couple of weeks.
Rather than the year long or whatever you sometimes get. I think he's going to be great. And will I move on from 13? Unlikely, but I'm sure he's going to entertain. David Siri, who's at David Siri 8, says slightly mixed views, good in places, by regeneration a bit hard to take in. Yeah, I can kind of understand that. Joshua Pruitt, who's at Zombie TARDIS. Now that's that's a good idea for a script, isn't it? Using the toy maker, a literal god, to make god tier changes to what we think we know about our favourite show was brilliant, in caps, and inspired, in caps, and I can't wait to see how it expands, in caps, the show in the future and beyond, in caps. So I'm guessing, Joshua, you quite liked that. Brilliant. And then my magic playing friend John JD David, who's at Marius Kane, I meant to ask him what that meant. He says it was superb, and exactly like you said, Paul, Mel had more character than in her entire run. NPH was brilliant, the regeneration was superb, ending was joyous. 15th will be a carefree, relaxed Doctor, and that's what we need. And actually, on that, I'll carry on with the Twitters in a minute. Yeah, he's right there. You know, like I said, I did sort of like that thing of, you know, you need to stop and, you know, start again. And you could tell immediately that 15 is able to, you know, there's no kind of baggage there, and it's all forgotten, and that clean slate for hopefully a big global audience is a good move. You know,
not forgotten, I don't think, because there were more name checks of previous Doctor Who stories than I've ever heard in the modern series.
Which I think was the point of that little bit to say, you know,
we fought the gods of Ragnarok. Mavic Chen was referenced. My goodness, from the Daleks' master plan. Crazy, you know.
So yeah, it's clear he remembers it all, you know. So Theta Sigma, who's Doctor Who fan again, says, "Wow, what a third special the Giggle turned out to be. Great story." Oh, and also on the Giggle, I remember RTD saying something like, you know, he picked a name just to annoy people, but actually it was really relevant to it, and you know, I thought, oh, you cheeky bugger, you've done well with
good,
that,
mate.
you know.
You have to get up early in the morning to outfox RTD.
Great story, superb performances all round, a new style regen, a brilliant new Doctor, and the Master coming back. We couldn't have asked for more. Tranquillo Molf says, I loved it for what it was and everything it sets up for the coming series. The only thing that made me wince a little was the range of colours comment, which I didn't personally think was necessary. That only takes it down to a 9 out of 10. Quill Pen, joyous, magical, NPH stored it. Dr. Donna, happiest lives. Excuse me. Ncuti is stunning. Something very doctorish about him. He just fits. Mel was stunning, as was Kate and Shirley. Unit, here we come. I hope if they do a unit show, they use the Big Finish unit theme, which is an absolute banger. The show looks $1 million, 60 years, and we get another version of Regeneration. How amazing is that? Very.
There was a lot packed into an hour and 1 minute, wasn't
there? There was. I was beginning to think, you know, when they said what the you know, runtime was, I was thinking, how are you going to manage all this then? But they did it, and then some. So yeah, successful. Bosh.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think. I mean, I've enjoyed this run of specials. I think it's been good fun to have.
This one's my favourite.
Is it? This one is your favourite. There you go.
The Giggle. Yeah, I'd say probably.
His favourite. It was quite epic, wasn't it?
It was epic. Yeah. Yeah.
Did he make it for you then? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be an amazing Doctor. You know, he really is. There's never been any doubt in my head, but it's always good to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's always that promise of a new actor bringing something, just a different energy, you know, or a renewed sense of energy into the role. It's always something, you know. I don't think I've been looking forward to seeing a new Doctor this much since I was looking forward to seeing Jodie, actually.
Wow, such a long time.
I know, it's great. Well, actually, it was a long time ago.
It was.
Exactly, it's like 6 years ago.
I was in primary school.
You were in primary school?
Wow.
And now
I remember talking about it when I was in...
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a long time. And I think what's really great as well is the fact we're going to get a lot of Doctor Who coming in now, thick and fast. Because they've been recording Series 1 and Series 2 back to back. We've got Christmas for 2024 pretty much banged up. There's hints of all kinds of specials. We've got, obviously, the 14th Doctor, the Donna, the unit thing, all kind of ready to go. If that's a spin-off, you know, there's other things happening, I'm sure, behind the scenes. The Whoniverse is now becoming a hot
Expanded.
property. Yeah,
Yes.
It's got its own little ident in the way of Star Wars and the MCU now. So and we've got colorizations of old episodes as well. So they seem to be throwing a lot of stuff at it.
Much Doctor Who.
Do you think there's an awful lot very quickly?
I do. Yeah, I do. But I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily.
It's needed.
I think it is because people this age and younger, they need content. They need it thrown
I need it now.
very quickly and very easily in easily digestible forms. I think.
Can we not call it content, please? Can we not?
But that's what it's been. That's what it's going to be, mate. You can rage against it as much as you like, but things change.
No, I just literally the word of content is so trivialising to all the creativity and everyone's hard work.
I do, yeah.
In my mind.
I get where you're coming from, mate. We are creators ourselves. So
we are.
You're
I
content
get this.
creators.
There you go. We create content. We
No,
create
not actually,
experiences.
'cause you don't need
We
TikTok.
create movies. We
They try
create
TikTok,
emotions.
but it's too
We create things that people will think about for a long
Let's move
time.
on.
I'd just like to say we had a new subscriber this week, didn't we? So thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much for new
We love our
subscribers.
subscribers.
Yeah, we do love our
I
subscribers.
don't know why I put that voice on, but I did. So, would you like to read out some Facebooks?
I would, but we haven't
us?
got any because I didn't actually put the post on in the end. I just put it on
Oh,
Twitter.
didn't you? Oh, I thought you did.
No.
Okay,
I put, who's looking forward to the Giggle? What are your wildest theories as to how the 14th Doctor's short run is going to play out? And that went across a whole bunch of. It went on our own page, and it went on a whole bunch of others, and I can't find them all, but they're there.
Oh, okay.
So it was all the theories before the broadcast, really. So everyone on our page, who commented on our page said, "Yeah, I'm gonna wait until after." That's funny.
I'm just going to sort of wrap up here by saying I just had a bit of artwork come in from Kelly Rosen for something that we're working on.
Did you see it?
So if you go to, did you see it? Yeah, if you go to our Twitter, it's there. So Kelly, I say chef's kiss to that, and I'd like it as layered Photoshop files, please. There's a little bit of the elf song, Goblin song, come out, by the way.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've only got a couple of weeks now to wait until we see the Christmas episode. We see Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor in full dance mode flow.
Yes.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. As I said, really looking forward to that. So brilliant.
I've just seen a tweet from our pal Fraser Gregory. Still processing the end of the Giggle as things stand. The biogeneration is fine in principle, but I don't see the point. I don't see what it added to the story, and I feel like it undercuts Ncuti's entrance. Then someone's the timescale says what does leave open is the possibility of Tennant and Tate returning in future annual specials to keep the franchise energised.
It's not content; it's a franchise.
Well, I agree with that. But do we look at Ncuti? The guy is fizzling over with energy. Do we really need Tennant?
He doesn't need anyone else, does he?
To pop it up? I don't believe we do. Anyway, on that, I hope you've had a giggle listening to this. Titty for now. And we will be back soon. Ta-ta for now. We'll be back very soon. Next week's episode is Carvanistas dropping in for a chat.
Yes, Craig Else, the wonderful Craig Else is joining us for an interview.
Bring up my old diary. So hold on a second. So next Sunday is Carvanista. Then it will be Christmas Eve, which we might be able to get our interview with Jason, the editor of Doctor Who magazine, out for then. And then we have something coming out on Christmas Day, which Paul needs to do his part for. And somehow we're going to have to try to record our commentary for the Church on Ruby Road.
Yeah, we're going to do that as well. Might not do that on Christmas Day.
It may not be Christmas Day. I think I think that will be a clanger if I ask to duck out on Christmas Day. So that's not happening. But we've got quite a lot coming. We're going to have something out on New Year's Day as well, hopefully, for you to plug into your ears for aural sensation, which I hope you enjoy. So we'll catch you next time.
School.
Then you go back to school.
And then you go back to school.
There's all sadness, isn't there?
Got exams.
Oh dear, what a shame. See, empathic father there. Yeah. Right, on that note, let's say thank you for listening to us, dear listeners. And do let us know your thoughts on the Giggle and the specials and what you're looking forward to at the Christmas show as it kind of processes through your head. We've had a lot thrown at us, and I think many of us are still kind of a little bit, how's it going to play out? We just don't know. But let us know your thoughts. Did you like it? Did you love it? Are you torn? Are you bifurcated somehow? Let us know. Until next time on Who Corner to Corner, see you laters.
I've never saluted before.
You're never going to salute. You did it right there.
I know.
Right.
TTFN.
I'm so upset.
That's my new sign off. TTFN.
Bye for now, listeners.
Hi.
Enjoy.
TTFN.
Bye.